Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. If you are a returning viewer, you will realise I still haven't come up with any better introduction, but I have got a half decent background now. I mean, it's the first ever thing I've brought off Facebook Marketplace, and it's put me off buying anything off Facebook Marketplace ever again just because of how shit it is. And I've stapled those pictures on it, and I thought a staple gun, it would like flatten the staple, you know what I mean, like at the back, and it doesn't, so it's fucking dangerous. And it is what it is. It's better than the previous background, so shut up. So welcome back to my channel. I think I will upload this one first, so ignore my intro in the next video because it's going to make no sense. But I'm so happy to be back. And if everyone could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it because I've lost all of my subscribers and that makes me so sad. I think I had about 800 last year and now I'm at 4. So if you could subscribe, I'd really very much appreciate it. So today I'm going to be talking about the case of Clara and David Harris. I believe I found this one on Deadly Women or Snapped Women Who Kill. It wasn't one I'd heard of and it's horrifying, to say the least. Trigger warnings for this video. It quite obviously involves murder. If you consider cheating a trigger, it involves cheating. Oh, both of my lights have died now. It involves cheating, it involves affairs, and content warning of strong language. I think that's all I've got to add for now, so let's get on with it. Clara and David Harris were both respected dentists, and I believe they shared an office which was in the shadow of NASA's Space Center, which is irrelevant but interesting, I guess. So Clara, I believe it was Clara's practice. So she was the practice owner and she was a dentist, whereas David's speciality was orthodontia. I believe that's how you say it. Now, if you looked at this couple, you'd think that's a really like high-flying, amazing couple. They're doing really well for themselves. They've got their own practice. They're in like $1 million home. And I hate to say it, but seemed like the perfect relationship. So Clara was helping David raise a daughter from his previous marriage, Lindsay. And as much as she loved being a stepmom to Lindsay, she was desperate to become a mother of her own. But they struggled quite a lot with becoming pregnant. So they did a lot of different treatments and IVF and all things like that. But eventually, Clara fell pregnant with twin boys in 1998 and she gave birth to Brian and Brady. Now, David was described as very self-indulgent and I believe egotistical is the right word. He wanted to be the best of everything. He wanted the best house, the best cars, the best women. He was very into himself. David did seem to have it all, but that was just nothing was ever enough for David, and he eventually started having an affair with his receptionist, Gail. For months they were having this affair, and then finally someone with some form of moral compass from the office told Clara what was going on, and Clara's world just imploded. So Clara's response was a bit bizarre in the fact that she became almost obsessed with Gail, and she demanded that David told her everything that has happened and everything that was going on and everything about Gail. And David responded in even more of a bizarre way. Instead of apologising profusely and saying it will never happen again and doing what you'd expect someone to do when they've been caught having an affair, David basically started shitting on Clara and said, oh, well, it's because she's fitter than you. She's got smaller feet than you. We fit better in bed together. She's skinnier than you. And just being a dick, like just absolutely laying into her like that's what she needed at that time. And it's just fucking horrible. So eventually jealous determination sets in with Clara and she starts really trying to make herself what she thinks David would want. So she starts going to the gym all the time. She starts putting more effort into her appearance. But David seems to be the person who wants what he can't have. So no matter what Clara does, it's not going to be good enough because he has her. David did tell Clara that he was going to break off the affair, but this was far from the truth. He started going away so I mentioned earlier that they work in the same building. So 2 days a week, David works in another dentist office, and this is where he met Gail. So he starts spending more time at this office, starts booking like lavish hotels for them and all different things like this. And David seems to be a bit of a man whore and just flirts with women everywhere he goes. He would proudly show off notes that women had left him on like a receipt at Hooters. I hate it when guys do that. It's not the same thing, but they were like, oh, babe, this girl texted me earlier and this is what she said. And look, I didn't respond. Like, well done you. What do you want us to say? Congrats. Well done. Thanks for not cheating on me. Twats. So David had obviously told Clara that he was going to break off this relationship with Gail, but Clara was wise enough to know that she needed some evidence of that, and she was not going to get the straightest of answers from David. So she goes to a place, I believe it's called Blue Moon Investigators, and it's like private investigators to follow him around and see what he's doing. On July 24th, 2002, Clara gets a call from her private investigators saying that David and Gail have gone into, it's a Hilton hotel. I've just said the name out loud and I can't remember it. Nassau Bay Hilton Hotel. David told Clara that he was going to break up with Gail and that that's where he was going to meet Gail to break off the relationship. But as soon as she heard that they were in a hotel and they'd gone into a hotel room, she knew this was absolute bollock. So she tells her stepdaughter to call her dad and say there's an emergency to get him out of the hotel, and it works. Clara and Lindsay drive to the hotel and they're sat in the lobby when they see David and Gail come out of the escalators into the lobby, holding hands, looking really loved up. So it's quite obvious he's not just broken up with her. And Clara just loses it. She just goes off. She sees red and she starts attacking Gail. So David is appalled by this behaviour and he says to Clara, like, this is it, we're done. And he then walks off with Gail. And I can't even imagine how angry that would, well, I can because I know what happens next, but I can feel my blood boiling already. Like, if that happened, you're saying, oh, I'm going to break up with my fucking mistress, and then I see you and I attack her, and then he goes off with her. Are you joking? I would lose my mind. Clara gets back into her car, and remember, the private investigator is still in this car park as well, so he's kind of seeing this all going on, and Clara's just lost it by this point. She's absolutely lost her mind, and she gets in her car and starts racing it around the car park, doing like laps around the car park. And the PI did get a video of this. And she then just thinks, fuck it. And she drives at David and Gail. And David pushes Gail out the way and he gets run over by Clara. Now, point to remember, Lindsay, his daughter, is in the car. So she is also in the car that's just hit her father. But Clara doesn't stop at just hitting him once. She keeps circling back and just keeps running him over. And apparently both women in the car were just screaming. I assume for very different reasons, but they were both just absolutely screaming. I mean, some of the potholes at the minute, if you hit them, you fucking know about it. Hitting a person, you would feel it. And that can't be nice, knowing you're running over your dad. Like, she eventually stops. I think she runs him over about 7 times, so it's a bit it's very unnecessary, but she does eventually stop. She gets out the car, she stands over his body, he is still alive, and she just whispers to him, look what you made me do. David was declared dead at 9:48 p.m. that evening, and Clara was arrested for murder. Now, when this story broke across America, there was a massive divide about it. There were so many women coming forward and going, well, he deserved it. That's what you get. You play with fire, you might get ran over. And I don't think it's justified what she did. I mean, so it was really divided on whether this was full-blown intended murder or if it was a crime of passion. And yeah, scorned women across America stood up in defense of Clara. And they then actually used it as a warning to their husbands, like, look what can happen. Don't test me. But at the end of the day, she still did kill someone, and she killed him in a very brutal way with his daughter in the car, which sucks. So she was obviously sent to trial, and she was charged with second-degree murder. On February 14th, 2003, which would have been Clara and David's 11th 11th wedding anniversary, she was found guilty of first-degree murder. Clara was sentenced to 20 years, and she was first eligible for parole in 2013, and then she was eligible again in 2017, and both requests were denied. So I don't know if she's out. I really need to look into this before I start. Let me see if I can find out. She was officially freed on the 10th of Feb 2023. So she's out. I think she's like 65 now. There's no further update as to what she's doing with her life. But yeah, I mean, there's better ways to go around your husband cheating. I do, in some respects, agree it was a crime of passion because it wasn't premeditated. I don't think she went there with the intention of killing him. I think she just saw red. I do think that she could have calmed down slightly after hitting him once, maybe twice, and not doing it as many times as she did. But it said that she knew that they were sleeping together in the hotel room, and she just sat there in her car just stewing, and she was just sat there crying and screaming and just winding herself up more and more and more, and then she just absolutely lost it. So I do agree that it was a crime of passion, but I don't agree that you can get away with murdering someone just because they cheated on you. Otherwise, I don't know how many men would be left in the world. I think we'd just kill them all. And women, sorry, sexist. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think he deserved it? Or do you think Clara should have got less of a sentence? Let me know your thoughts. So, positive thought for the day. I mean, this is my second positive thought of the day, so let's try and come up with one. Oh, Swarovski have just launched an Alice in Wonderland collection, and if you know me, I love Alice in Wonderland. I went to Primark yesterday to buy the dressing gown, and I love dressing gown. Blah. I love Alice in Wonderland. My first tattoo was the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. I absolutely love it. And they've released, I'll post pictures around me somewhere, the cutest collection. It's expensive, but I think it's worth it. So yeah, that's my happy thought of the day. Go look at that collection. It's so nice. I mean, it's going to break my bank, but it's so worth it. So that's my positive thought. Yeah, make good choices. Don't cheat on people. Take a breath before you act on impulsive emotions. Don't get murdered, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh no, one of my lights has died. I can't wait to go for a bath. Right, let's have a skim of this. And some lip balm. I'd kill for some lip balm right now, but if I stop, I'll stop and I'll sit, and that's the death of me. Shut up. I'm going to be good start. Oh, both of my lights have died now. Got hair on my face, I can feel it. And they shared an... Is that a spider? Wait, Clara? I literally can't see. Who did? Spending more time at... Fuck off. Twats. But she... Sorry, it's not funny. I wrote this so badly.